What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, good morning. How are we doing?
I appreciate this. Would you believe you've finally seen the light? My man Shannon Sharpe is actually honoring Tom Brady as he got the sucking ears to his 10th Super Bowl. Thank you for that. In honor of the true GOAT.
You know what?
Thank you.
You try to steal my thunder here. You know what?
I didn't see that.
No. You did see you see little Ron.
Huh.
What'd that say?
I thought he was bigger than that.
He was huge last night. He was like a lion. Let me get this. I'm gonna get this out your way, Skip.
Okay.
Get that right there.
All right.
You don't mind if I put this right here?
Nope, you can do that.
Hold on. Let me get here. Hold on, Jenny, just a second. You get right.
All right, you take your time. Shannon, we got 2.5 hours here. So
There you go, Skip. How you doing?
Tom Brady makes you sweat, doesn't
How
he?
you doing, Skip?
Yeah, I'm good. Here we go.
Did you see that last night?
I saw it. I want to talk about it. I got a lot to say.
Yeah, plenty to say. Skip had his moment with his GOAT yesterday, and today we talk about Shannon's GOAT. LeBron played his first game in Cleveland in more than 2 years last night, and he definitely made up for lost time in the fourth quarter. LeBron admitted after the game that he was motivated by a member of the Cavs front office on the baseline applauding a miss at the end of the third quarter, and the King then outscored Cleveland by himself, 21-19 in the fourth, a 9-for-10 shooting that included a deep three from the logo. LeBron finished with a season-high 46 points in the 115-108 win, and the Lakers extended their road winning streak to 10 games to start the season. So, Shannon, how impressive was your guy LeBron's performance?
If you remember how we talk about these things, there are certain performances that are legendary, things that you'll never forget where you were when you saw it. You probably remember when they put man on the moon. You probably remember that exact day. You were sitting.
We're going man in the moon off last night.
You remember.
Against the 8 and 9 Cavaliers.
Skip, and guess who they got 2 victories against? Your Brooklyn Nets.
Did Kevin Durant play in the second game?
No. Did he play in the first one?
Yes.
So they got a victory.
It was the first game ever for Kyrie, Harden, and Kevin Durant. Thank you.
That was the first game. That was the first NBA game they ever played in their life.
Together, yes.
Don't do that, Skip. See, I know you try to undermine my guy, but I'm not going to let you do it. Skip, he was spectacular. This was a virtuoso. This is why you got to appreciate this, Skip. On a Monday night in January, early in a basketball season, he can give you that. You see, it doesn't see when guys give you great performance, and you love to see guys give you legendary performances in a playoff game. But can they summon that when they got nothing to play for, when there's no one else in the building, when there's very few eyeballs on the television? Can they give you that? The very thing that you and others have applauded Michael Jordan, he gave you legendary performances every night. The thing that we're going to talk about him a little later, Kobe, what you commended Kobe for, the mentality that he played with every single night, he gave you that. And now you want to demean him and look down because,
demean? I haven't even spoken yet.
Don't worry about it. You did. Oh, he gave you that against the lonely Cleveland Cavaliers on a January?
Is that a playoff team he played last night?
What was Skip? I'm asking guys. You ask Skip. The Lakers play this man as a king's ransom. They don't say we want you to just play good against Boston or play good against the Clippers. We want you to give us performances every night. And for no reason, he had no reason. First of all, he ain't even got no reason to be in the lineup in year 18 coming back after the 72-day rest. He got no business even playing on a Monday. But he did, and he gave you that. Now, Skip Bayless and Skip, Skip tell him, well, he hadn't been the same. So LeBron said, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop 21 on you in the first quarter to let you know I mean business. Now, for the next 2 quarters, I'm going to try to get AD going because the ball is not going in the basket. The reason why you know AD's struggling a little bit, because he's missing free throws. AD is a mid-80, high 80% free throw shooter. And right now, the ball is just going in and out. So I'm going to try to get AD involved. I'm going to try to get others involved. Oh, Cleveland. Y'all try to win this game. So y'all want to say y'all gonna beat Brooklyn Nets twice and y'all beat the Lakers. That's what you want to say. And then there's somebody chirping. You see, you keep your mouth shut. He was chirping. LeBron said, okay. What? And he said, you know what I'm gonna do, Skip? Because Skip, you remember that stat you had? In the 4 quarters. You talk about 4 quarters. Let me tell you what he did the last 2 4 quarters against the Bucks, 12 points. Last night, 21 points on 9 of 10 shooting. 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. But Skip Bayless told me, and 5:38 and 10:32 told me LeBron James is terrible in the 4th quarter. Skip Bayless. I'm going to turn it over to you because I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I got a lot to say.
I think he's once and for all. Can you stop this foolishness? Now, they're gonna ban you from Twitter. If you keep tweeting out misleading statements that Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA, they're going to ban you. The last guy that did that, he got banned permanently. Really? I don't want to get you banned for a year, Skip, for tweeting misleading statements.
How can you get banned for speaking the truth?
No, that's misleading. That's misleading. They're going to flag you. I hadn't said anything. But I know Jack Dorsey, that's misleading what you keep doing. Now, you keep putting up that Kevin Durant is the best player in the NBA, I'm going to have no choice but to have you banned.
Did you see what Kevin Durant and the Nets did last night to Miami?
With no Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler?
I know, but they played shut down, lockdown, playoff-style defense.
Really, Skip?
It was shocking. I mean, they held Miami to 85 points, and Kevin Durant blocked 4 more shots. He's looking like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate to me.
Anthony Davis got that in the bag. Anthony Davis got that in the bag. But look, Skip, before you go, Skip, why you do that? So let me ask you a question. Have you seen more 120 and 130 and 140-point games from guys that the Nets have played, or have you seen more 80-point games?
85 total for the Miami
That's
Heat.
one. I can go back and tell you about the 125 that they gave up to just Miami just the other day, and the 147 they gave up to the Cavaliers just the other day, and the 130 they gave up to the Cavaliers just the other day. Take it away.
Kyrie Irving was playing his tail off, flying out of bounds to swat loose balls back into play. It was unbelievable. Now, back to LeBron.
On a Monday
back to
night?
the story of the night. So, what happened first, I watched the whole live post-game interview with LeBron, as I always do. I don't miss a trick with LeBron James. I watch every dribble.
Stop saying the trick. It wasn't no trick.
It was a little bit of a trick last night. What was the first thing out of his mouth that he talked about going home, obviously seeing his mom, seeing his uncle, getting that home cooking, but then right away he volunteered this statement. Could we hear it, please?
What did he say, Skip?
Obviously, you get inspired watching the greats play and, seeing Brady, see the things that he did with that team. That inspired me as well, but I just felt pretty good. I mean, as I have the whole season, I've been getting better and better as each game goes on, and felt good from the beginning and just trying to keep it going.
He volunteered. He was inspired by Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady Jr., taking the Succaneers all the way to the Super Bowl. So you got to give him, give Brady a little credit for this performance last night, right? No, well, seriously, he volunteered it. He was inspired by the true GOAT. He looked up and saw Brady doing that with that team that barely had 1 Pro Bowler.
I don't think they had any. Let me ask you,
they had JPP. He's not even a starter.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question, Skip? Do you believe Tom Brady played the equivalent of what LeBron played last night on Sunday?
Played the equivalent?
Yeah. Was his game the equivalent of what LeBron did Sunday night?
Are you kidding me? In degree of difficulty, beating the guy you say is the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers, at Lambeau, and the #1 seed with a team that had virtually no Pro Bowlers? Are you kidding me? It was off the charts extraordinary. It's the all-time Tom Brady achievement.
No.
And LeBron,
Skip,
who is a student of history, sat back and said, my God.
No, Skip, I'm not saying team achievement. I'm saying was Brady's play. Tom Brady, was his play on Sunday the equivalent of what LeBron James did on Monday?
Sure it was. I told you his first half was the greatest first half he's ever played in a playoff game. He got it home.
No, Skip, the game.
Yes. He got the Succaneers to the Super Bowl. And you're talking about a Monday night in January against the Cadavers, the Cleveland Cadavers, what's left of the Cavaliers in Cleveland.
What you mean what's left of them?
It's the house that LeBron built, obviously. Although, would you believe he was only 4-8 in NBA Finals in that building? He lost 8 games. He's lost 6 finals. 8 games. He was 4-8 in finals games in that building. But now let's get to the crux of the moment, the flashpoint. End of the third quarter, rolls off the front of the rim. And guess who over to his left is sitting in the front row? Because there are a few fans in, but mostly it's personnel.
Yeah.
There's a man named Jason Hillman. Here's the shot. And Jason Hillman is actually the counsel for the Cavaliers. And he goes crazy, and he over-enthusiastically claps for this miss. And LeBron is not happy with this. And he turns around and looks at him twice on the way to the
Skip
bench.
is quiet. You can hear everything.
You can hear everything. Okay, Jason Hillman joined the team in LeBron's 3rd year early on in his career.
Right.
Jason Hillman was first just he's a lawyer, so he's the general counsel of the team, but he graduated up the ranks because he is Dan Gilbert's right-hand man. They are like this.
Dan Gilbert's do-boy.
Okay, yeah. And so he graduates up to, he's the capologist. He controls the cap. He does the big deals for the team. He is a power broker within that franchise now under Kobe Altman. He's graduated into the basketball operation. Right. And I'm going to guess LeBron doesn't love him because I know for a fact LeBron does not love the owner of that team.
No.
And how he made peace to go back there and win that championship for Dan Gilbert, I still can't even swallow. It's hard for me to fathom.
That would be like Tom Brady returning to New England.
That is true. And winning one for Coach Belichick, who pushed him out the back door. So, but they did make enough peace, and I'm going to remind everybody, this is the same Dan Gilbert who accused LeBron James, the king, of quitting in his final, the final series that he played for the Cavaliers.
Celtics,
it was against the Celtics, and they lost games 4, 5, and 6, and somebody from LeBron's camp had to leak the information that he had to be sedated before those games 4, 5, and 6 because he had a locker room issue with another teammate. But the point was Dan Gilbert subsequently accused him of quitting in that final playoff series against the Boston Celtics. And that is the man, Jason Hillman, who is the right-hand man of Dan Gilbert. What have I told you from the start? What have I said from all the way back to LeBron's rookie year in this league? When do I love LeBron the most? When he gets angry. He got furious angry last night. That pushed the deepest button in him because he does not love Dan Gilbert, and he definitely doesn't love his right-hand man. So for that guy, he probably stood up and like exaggerated clap.
LeBron looked at, oh, that's Dan Gilbert. You clapping for Dan.
You're doing that?
Yeah.
And what have I told you? Remember the heckler in Atlanta. There was a heckler in Toronto. I'm going way back. This is like 10 and 12 years ago, maybe more. And he went crazy because you push the psycho button in LeBron, and what do I always tell you about Brady? He's got the alter ego Psycho Tom. If you push that deepest button, you better look out because you're going to get pure greatness out of LeBron James. So he's back in his house, the house that he built, the franchise for which he did come from 3-1 down to win a championship. And that guy has the audacity to sit there and applaud him missing a shot at the end of the third quarter.
Good job, Tori. Good job. Good job. What a D up.
Great D. Great D. And it was a close game. I think it was a 3-point game at that point.
When they were down, it was 89-87 going into the fourth.
Okay. So 2-point game.
Yes.
Okay. So here comes LeBron. And he goes absolutely nuts. But it was angry nuts. That's when I love him because I wish I could see that more often from him because I always tell you, he's a nice guy. Sometimes he's too nice of a guy.
Right.
Sometimes he defers too much. I would love to see him play angry more often, but it's not natural to him. He needs external motivation.
Right.
He needs somebody to push that deepest button.
Skip, when I saw him had the pink shoes on last night, I say LeBron going for 30 tonight. Little did I know. In that game, Skip, I will agree with you on this. This is the first time we're probably going to agree on something with LeBron. I wish he had been more aggressive because I believe that was a night he could have got 60. Because if you look at the first quarter, you look at the fourth quarter, and then you look at the way he's just trying to get everybody else involved. I'm like, Ron, shoot that. No, don't worry about it, but don't worry about nobody else.
Okay.
That might could have been, I'm not saying he could have got to 81, but that looked like it could have been a very, very special game, Skip.
Okay.
Considering how he bookended the game.
Okay.
17 and 21. So that's 38 and 2 quarters where he just became a facilitator in the second and third quarters.
Okay, so what is my pet peeve about LeBron's game? I always call him still the greatest passer in basketball, but also I always say greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. Well, driving the basketball necessitates getting to the free throw line.
Right.
It is his Achilles heel. He's a 70-odd% free throw shooter, sometimes 68, 69. Right. He can't measure up to his obviously superstar status from the free throw line. So what did he shoot in the fourth quarter from the free throw line? None. He didn't drive the ball at all because he is now shooting threes at a much higher rate.
Skip, he's feeling it.
Okay.
He was feeling it.
All right, so what did we see a year ago? LeBron said, watch this. I'm going to lead this league in assists for the first time ever. Did he do that?
Yes.
Yes, he did. What is happening right now before your very eyes? His assists have fallen significantly off because he's not focused on assisting the basketball.
Plus, Schroeder has the ball in his hands as much as LeBron. Right. So you wouldn't expect him, Skip, to average the same amount of assists when he doesn't have the ball nearly as much.
He averaged 11 through 18 games last year. He was averaging 11 assists. Through 18 games this year, he's all the way down to 7. That's a huge drop-off, okay? What is going up? 3-point attempts.
Yes.
If you look over the last 6 seasons, here are his per-game attempts over the last 6 seasons. Look at what's happening here. We go all the way back 6 years ago to 3.7 a game, to 4.6, to 5.0, to 5.4, to 6.3. This year he's up to 6.6 attempts from 3 per game. That's still probably going to fall short of, as his career goes into year 19, 20, he's going to go way up because what does he know? I mean, LeBron's got the highest IQ in basketball IQ. So what did he see James Harden do over the last 3 years? He led the league in scoring by doing what? Leading the league in 3-point attempts and 3-point makes. What's the math on 3 versus 2? Well, obviously, it just adds up like crazy.
But, Skip, you know what you said? You look down there, you said, okay, it went up from 3 and 4 and 5.
Up.
And guess what's going up? His percentage, up, 41%.
Okay, but he came into this year a career 34% 3-point shooter, which is no good. Last year, he shot 35% from 3 for the whole year. It ranked 148th in the league. Yeah. This year, he's all the way up to 41%, and he's been pretty hot.
Where's that ranking?
58.
Okay, then.
Okay, 58th. It's not top 5. It's not top 10. It's 58th. But last year, 148th from 3, which is just, it's just average.
How you, Skip? You see what you did? Now you want Miss America be the wealthiest woman in the world, have the best personality in the world, and have the most talent in the world. Okay. You can't have it all.
Okay, I still say he's nothing but an average 3-point shooter, but he works hard on it. I give you that, and he has definitely improved from his early first couple of years, 3 years in the league, from 3.
You would like to think.
Just as Jordan and Bird and Magic, they all improved a lot from 3 through their careers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is LeBron's primary goal right now? Not just to win a championship, obviously, but individual goal. What is it?
He wants the points.
He wants the points. He's got to catch and pass Kareem.
He's going to get him, too.
And it's going to take playing a lot of games, pretty good minutes. He's averaging, what, 33 minutes?
33 minutes.
Okay, 33 minutes. He needs to keep up that pace minutes, but he needs to keep up the point pace. So he needs to go. Has he missed one game this year?
No.
Nope, he hadn't laid out one night. He hadn't taken off one load management night or one just maintenance night, just body maintenance. He just keeps playing because he needs to play the minutes. He's still got the Iron Man body, and he needs to score points to catch Kareem. What's the fastest way to score points? Is to make 3-point shots.
Is to play.
Huh?
Well, you got to play, Skip.
Okay, but again, the fastest way mathematically to track down Kareem is to shoot more threes. I don't blame him. You need to make... You at least need to make 35%, but it helps when you're making 41.
Well, you're making 40%.
Okay, but can he hold on at 40? He did 1 year. He had
in
1
Miami.
year.
Yeah,
he had 1 year.
But Skip, I think the thing is for him, I think LeBron went in with the, we saw what AD did on what was that Saturday night in Chicago. They made a conscious effort to get him the ball.
Because he's home.
Home.
Yeah.
I believe LeBron wanted to play well, but I don't think he thought he was going to get like this. Skip, I mean, we haven't seen him shoot this many field goal attempts and shoot 70% since he was in the Garden, and many people believe that was his greatest game that he's ever played when they were down 3-2, and he went back to the Garden and he had that look in his eye.
Okay.
I just think the thing is, Skip, right now, he's in a good place. His body's feeling good. I agree with you. If somebody would have bet, say, what's the over-under? 18, 20 games into the season, LeBron has missed 1 or 2. I say, well, give me the over. I'm going to say he's going to miss a few games.
Well, you thought before the year, he'd really.
I mean, he's going to be.
Well, LeBron had the quote on, what was it, the Sharpe, where he said, I'm going to be cherry-picking games.
The first month.
Meaning I'll take games off.
But, Skip, last night, tell me what you was thinking as the thing started going in. What were you thinking?
I wondered who he got mad at because I couldn't imagine a random. They let some fans in last night.
Right.
But I couldn't imagine a random fan in Cleveland, Ohio, heckling him to the point that it really ticked him off.
Well, and plus, Skip, if you notice, even in the first quarter, he kept looking to the side. I'm like, well, who is he looking at? Because he shot that 3 to end the first quarter.
He did.
And I'm like, okay, well, who? Like, I don't really see anybody. I didn't really see the cardboard cutouts like they had in the bubble. But so I'm like, who is he looking at? Because I'm thinking they're probably only letting family or the front office people from both organizations. But even, I don't think that you're allowed to travel, but with a certain number of people, Skip. So I'm like, well, who does he keep looking at? Who does he keep looking at? And then at the end of the third quarter, he looked, he like, it's something, you could tell somebody said something, and it was like he said, oh, yeah? Okay.
Okay.
But you know how this gets.
Hey, you know what I would do if I were the Lakers? I would pay someone at each of the road stops to heckle him. I would. I'd set somebody up to heckle him because it drives him over the edge into greatness.
Skip, it's always the guy. You know, you sitting around with a bunch of your friends and somebody say something and everybody start laughing at you. And the first thing you do, you get mad at the people that's laughing. What you laughing at with your raggedy mouth? You up here talking, you ain't got nothing to talk about. You see your team a mess. Look at me now, I just won the title. Okay. You thought you was going to get so much better without me because remember, in the op-ed that Dan Gilbert took out, he's going to win a title before the classless king.
He said that. I agree. Okay. And yet, I'm going to put this into perspective one more time for you because I brought this up to you, I guess it was just last week here on the show. There was the recent stretch of 6 games in which in fourth quarters combined, over those 6, LeBron shot 5 of 24 and scored more points last night in the fourth quarter than he did over that whole 6-game stretch. Well, wouldn't you like to see that more often? I would love to see him get mad.
I think the thing is, Skip, is that there's a fine line that he has to walk because he's playing with another superstar. It's not like he's just on a bad team. Like James Harden, he could take all those shots because he didn't have another comparable player on his ball club. Yep. So you have to be judicious with how you shoot the ball and when you shoot the ball. Now you have AD. And he's going to do everything he can because he knows he needs AD. AD knows they're going to need him. And AD knows that he needs to play better because he said before the Chicago game, I've been sucking this year. Ain't no way around it. Ain't no me sugarcoating it. I've been sucking. So LeBron can't just go out there and just gun and shoot 26, 30 times a game like Harden has done.
Okay. What do we see all too often from Anthony Davis in fourth quarters? He goes quiet. He goes passive. He's not aggressive. He does take over gene in him.
I just think, Skip, they might have to. And I know they have a rotation where AD, LeBron plays in and out. He normally comes out at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, 5-minute mark of the third quarter, and he's sit about 2 or 3 minutes, and he comes back into the ball game. They might need to start AD. Instead of letting AD play the entire third quarter and then coming in about 6, 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, they might need to let him get a rhythm in the fourth. And then let him sit.
Maybe. Okay, what did I tell you? Even against the Bucks, after that bad 6-game stretch, he had a flurry early. Then he makes a shot at 7:21 left that put them ahead by 11. Then LeBron went quiet, and he goes all the way down to the 104 mark. But who saved the day? KC3 made a huge 3 in that game, and then Caruso made a huge 3 in that game. And Caruso's made a lot of clutch shots for this team.
Caruso's leading the NBA for 3-4 percentage.
He is. He only made 1 last night, but it was pretty big. But last night, your man, the King, said, no, I got this, and he got it all the way home, and he loved it because he wanted to rub Jason Hillman's nose in it, and he did.
That's just a sign of things to come. It's foreshadowing.
We're going to see this every night?
Skip, stop it. You know, good with man, they're going to score 46. But I tell you what you're going to see. Performances like this.
Well, if I saw that one, why shouldn't I see another one or another one? You're saying he's not capable of consistent
What guy other than Will averaged 46 in a season?
Well, I mean, 21 in the fourth. We should at least see 15 the next time, right?
Really, Skip?
Well, I'm waiting. I'm watching.
So how many times has Kevin Durant scored 21 in the fourth this year?
God. Hey. Hey, when it's time, Kevin Durant.
Oh, when it's time?
He made big shots last night in the fourth.
What about my guy? My guy's never made big shots, huh?
Yeah. Did you see, I saw that on the Nets telecast last night, they had a fan vote about who do you want to see having the ball in his hands at the end of games, and it was like 90% KD over Kyrie and even over James.
Wow.
Yep.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Because, Skip, Kyrie can make big shots, man.
He can.
And he can dance with the rock.
But the best player on the planet is still Kevin Durant. Thank you.
Okay, now, you trying to get banned on Twitter. You trying to get banned. You trying to get banned.
I think the lesson here is don't upset LeBron.
That's what the lesson.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
No mercy.
We're less than 2 weeks away from Super Bowl 55, and the Chiefs are relishing the opportunity to go up against Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes trolled the QB by joking to go up against one of the greatest, if not the greatest quarterback of all time in his 150th Super Bowl is going to be a great experience. Frank Clark was a bit more blunt, telling reporters, "I have nothing to say to him. I'll see his ass on Sunday in the Super Bowl." All this comes after a comment this past summer when Tyreek Hill said Kansas City was going to chase Michael Jordan's championship total, a comment Brady replied to on Twitter saying, "Totally agree. Why not go 7 rings?" So, Shannon, should Brady see any of this as disrespect?
Skip, look, I've gotten out of the business of what athlete or what someone should view as disrespectful, what I might view as disrespectful or a shot someone taking a shot at. Another person might not do it. Skip, and this is what I'm talking about. When you think of 6 rings, you know who you think about. Who you think about when you hear 6 rings, Skip? You think Jordan. Tom Brady has 6 rings, but for whatever reason, they haven't resonated like Michael Jordan's 6 rings. Maybe it's because he's 6 and 3, I don't know. But when you think 6 rings, Skip, you think Jordan. And so maybe Tom did take it as a swipe, as someone taking a dig at him.
Yep.
But and maybe he's motivated that. Like you said, you see LeBron, the little thing. The guy was like, maybe that he's saying that was good deep, Torian. But LeBron took it like, oh, you all happy that I missed a shot. Okay, let me sit you down. So maybe that's going to motivate Tom. But I think the thing is, we got to stop this notion. If somebody does not throw a bouquet of roses or heap an olive branch on Tom Brady's head, they're taking shots at him or they're being disrespectful. People are entitled. I mean, Tyreek's like, hey, we tracing Jordan. Because when you hear 6 rings, for whatever reason, it's never associated with Tom. Maybe because Jordan got Skip, if you think about it, there are a lot of people that got the 6 rings before Jordan, but there's just something about Jordan rings. Remember I said, like, baseball records are hallowed. The home runs and strikeouts and things like that. It doesn't resonate the same as in football. So, but for whatever reason, Tom Brady has not gotten, I will say this, he has 6 just like Jordan, but for whatever reason, people, it is than Tom Brady's. And you can judge it however you want to. I just think it's very, very hard when one game can end your season. You got to beat Jordan 4 times. So I think it's more difficult to do what Tom has done. But for whatever reason, Skip, Tom hasn't gotten the credit for the 6 rings that he's won. But I don't believe Frank Clark. What was Frank supposed to? Like Frank said, I ain't got nothing to say. Chase Young was talking about, I want Brady. Frank Clark said, tell him I see him on Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, I'll see him.
No, he didn't say it that way.
You know.
Now, what did he say?
I see his you-know-what on Sunday.
I'll see his you-know-what on Sunday.
I see you-know-what on Sunday. But, Skip, you know how Frank is. Remember last year in the AFC title game when Derrick Henry, they said about Derrick Henry, I'm surprised he didn't got more yards than that, as big as he is. Hell, he should have 2,000 yards when he got 2,000 this year. But anyway, so Tom Brady might view it as a swipe. I do not, and we got to just be careful that every time somebody doesn't say something glowing about a person, they're taking a shot at them.
All right. I interpret all three of these instances as shots at Brady because I believe he will interpret them as shots.
Okay.
Maybe he's Jordan-esque in that he oversees shots at him as personal.
He views all things that's not positive as a negative.
Right. Because Jordan actually fabricated.
Yes.
He would fabricate a slight. I always tell the Calipari story when he was just angry, pointing at Calipari in a game at New Jersey against the Nets, a playoff game. And Jordan was GOAT that night. And I asked him after the game, what do you have against Calipari? He said, I don't even know him. He said, I just don't like the way he walks up and down in front of the bench, how he prances up and down. Okay, well, that's just perceiving something in somebody just to motivate yourself until you get mad about that. So LeBron needs it to actually happen to get mad, but Jordan would make it up until he finally decided, I got to get even with that guy, even if it's just fabricated.
LeBron believes that everybody is good until you prove otherwise. Jordan believes everybody is bad until you prove otherwise.
So, to me, Tom Brady doesn't look like an assassin. He doesn't look like some badass quarterback who's going to get even with you.
Right.
He looks like the lame, cliched dad down the street or next door.
Yep.
So he comes in a different package. But what I have learned over many years of closely observing Brady is you better be careful with what you say before games because the littlest perceived slight will become massive in his mind by kickoff. And you just better be careful with this guy because he can be a force of nature in games of this magnitude, like a championship game or certainly a Super Bowl, if he decides that you have little to no respect for him.
Well, Skip, considering that Brady's won, 33, 34 playoff games, there's a lot of games. Nobody said anything. He went out there and kicked their ass.
Okay, so, I got it. But this is another Super Bowl with a team that most of which has not been there, most of whom has not been there.
Correct.
And he needs some reason to take it up one more level.
Skip, they beat the brakes off you. You know, you got to read the same thing New Orleans.
That's true.
New Orleans didn't need to say anything. He's like, y'all beat me twice. Y'all think I'm done. Okay, I'm going to show you.
Okay, but this is what I'm starting to see in the Kansas City Chiefs. And I respect to the highest degree Andy Reid. I think he's a good man, but he loves to pour it on. He loves his trick plays. He loves his red zone inside the 5. You better look out because and he even tried one, remember, at Tampa Bay, as I call it. He tried some trick pass play from Kelsey to Mahomes, and it didn't work. And it cost them 4 points in that game because they had to kick a field goal. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so he loves to, on the biggest stage, say, watch this, and to reprove some of his offensive
remember
genius.
they threw a pass to Mahomes down the field in another game, giving out they Sammy Watkins threw it.
That's who they are. I really love Patrick Mahomes, all of his talent. I think he's a good kid, but he's becoming a cocky kid to me. And I don't know why, in several references that I've heard, that he has to say he's one of the best, if not the best. Because, come on, we know who the best is.
Skip, this is what I know. On my podcast, I've interviewed Chris Tucker. I did Chris Tucker, J.B. Smooth. I interviewed some of the rappers. But they don't put their contemporaries on Mount Rushmore, a GOAT. He said... I was talking to Tucker, and I was like, well, you know, he's like Richard Pryor and Red Fox and Bernie Mac. And I said, well, what about Chappelle? He's like, he's my contemporary. I can't put him there. Same thing. Notice, Skip, a lot of contemporary, they're like, no. They go back. So I'm playing with a guy. They didn't, look, Jordan was great, but nobody at the time, Magic wasn't saying he's the greatest player. He's the best player currently playing. But he's not the greatest player. Nobody said that until afterwards. So you don't heap that kind of praise on a contemporary. You would see that as a weakness. You mean to tell me that you believe somebody is better than you? Nah, Mahomes said, look, he's the greatest, if not one of the greatest. Okay? He's not the greatest right now, Skip.
Tom Brady is old enough to be his father.
Okay? But let me ask you a question, Skip. Do you believe right now Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes right now?
in a big game with all the money, push them.
All right,
I'll take him. I'll take him right now. I'll take him.
Is he a better quarterback throughout the so from the 2020 season, was Tom Brady a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
Okay.
Has he played better?
Are we talking about skills competition, or are we talking about performance?
I'm saying performance.
Okay, if this is just me, but I look at it differently than you do. I'll take him because his degree of difficulty was so much higher than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has the 2 best receivers in pro football, in Tyreek and Kelsey, and he's been with them into his 4th year.
That's not what Pro Football Focus said. At the beginning of the season, Pro Football Focus said Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were the best 2 receivers in football.
Did they make the Pro Bowl?
I'm just saying,
that was off last year's performance.
So
off last year.
Okay.
But off this year, they did not perform at that level because Brady taught them how to win, and you're not going to get the sugar as much as you got it from Jameis. We're going to have to spread the wealth. We're going to have to run it a little more. We're going to have to be a little more careful with the football. So, again, it took Brady saying, eye on the prize, not on the Pro Bowl.
But Skip,
they didn't have any Pro Bowlers on offense. They didn't have one.
If you look at the receivers, Skip, Brady doesn't normally send receivers. Other than Randy Moss and Wes Welker, he hasn't had a receiver. The only tight end is gone has been Gronk. So his offense is really not conducive because, like you said, he does spread the ball around, but his running backs do do a lot of the catching. Where in this offense, it's all about Tyreek, it's all about Kelsey.
All right. So Clark. He's got a pretty big mouth, but he backs it up. He's a good player.
Yeah.
You don't say, I'll see his, I'm just going to say the word, I'll see his ass in the Super Bowl.
What you supposed to say? Oh, Tom Brady, I'm so afraid of Tom Brady.
Show a little bit of respect to a guy who's going to his 10th
I wish I might.
Yeah.
Let me get out. I'm going to show you how much respect I'm going to show for him. Let me get my hands on him.
Okay, good. Love it. Say that publicly. It's just, you should think that privately. You should not say this publicly.
All he said was, I'll see his ass on Sunday.
When will they ever learn? That's been my point all along about that guy, number 12.
Let's think about it. When Devin White said last week, Green Bay had no business on the damn field with them.
That was right after they had beaten them 38-10.
Yes. You ain't say nothing about that. Was you, Devin? You might have to see this team again. Show some respect. You didn't say that.
Okay. Well, did Aaron take it to heart? It didn't seem to motivate him.
You don't know what Aaron.
And by the way, speaking of Aaron Rodgers last week, I told you going in, I first guessed this. I said, I have never, ever heard a quarterback going into a big game, such as a championship game, as smugly serene as he was last week. All I heard was, my dream came true. I got what I always wanted. I got a home NFC championship game in the cold and in the snow at Lambeau. Little did he know, the weather was actually sort of summery for this time of year in January in Lambeau, right? It wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad.
Okay? But what else did he say? I'm feeling better right now, said Aaron Rodgers, than I ever have at this point in the season. I feel healthier and more refreshed than I ever have. Remember? Because he's been so protected this year. He goes down 5 times in the game. You don't think Tampa took that to heart and said, okay, watch this. But they didn't say it publicly. And Aaron said, right now, after everybody said we were the worst 13-3 team in NFL history last year, he said, I'm not hearing anybody say that right now because our offense is so much better. What happened in the fourth quarter? That offense was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and I've always said, I'm a firm believer in this. It doesn't matter how good you are offensively or defensively. Can you get done what you need to get done when you absolutely have to?
Okay.
This offense was historically great in the red zone. I'm talking about since they started tracking red zone numbers, this offense was off the charts, better than any offense had ever been.
Then
when you needed it,
I know.
could you get it done?
Nope.
I say the same thing about a great defense. If you're number 1 in points allowed and rush yards and pass defense and sack, and all of a sudden you allow a team to go down the field and get the ball in the end zone or get in position to kick a game-winning field goal, how great are you actually? Because if you can't get done what you need to get done when you absolutely have to have it, what is that?
It doesn't matter.
But Skip, you will concede this, though. When you think 6 rings, you don't think Brady, you think Jordan. Am I correct?
Okay, I do. I got that. But in the confines of your own sport, you better honor that guy. And it was funny that guy took note on social, it was on Twitter, I think it was, and he said, you know what, I'm going to respond to that publicly. Yeah, what was his line? Yeah,
why not go for 7?
I would like, why not go for 7? Yeah, well, he's going for 7, and it could be at your expense.
Because here's the reasons why. This is when you know you reach an iconic level, and we're going to talk about Kobe in a second. is that when you cross over sports.
Yeah, okay, I got it. And I'm the biggest Jordan fan on the planet. I'm just saying, within the confines of the National Football League, you better be careful if you overlook and exclude that number 12 who now plays for Tampa Bay.
But even in that sport, they still view Jordan as more of a killer than Tom Brady.
Okay, I got it. But I can show you in performance and results that Jordan is not a more consistent killer than that guy's been on the Super Bowl stage.
But see, you just talk about the big stage. They look at Jordan on there every night. They see a guy that averaged 37.
Obviously. And I do too.
Yes.
I got it. Final point. Remember, what did Tyreek do after, I think it was maybe his second touchdown at Tampa Bay on that fateful day, November 29th? He backflipped.
Yeah.
Right? Look at this. He backflipped into the end zone. Is that not the ultimate disrespect? What would Shannon Sharpe say? Well, stop him.
Yeah,
just keep him out of the end zone.
Keep him but out the end zone.
But he backflipped, and to Andy Reid's credit, he said after the game, I don't love that, and I'm going to tell him, let's not do that.
Yeah, you don't want to get...
Yeah. Like Andy said, he said, if you want to backflip over by the bench, you can backflip by the bench. Let's not backflip into their end zone, because Andy's been around too long, because he's gotten punished for things that he's done by the opposing team, right?
Yeah.
It will come back to haunt you. It'll come back to bite you. And ultimately, you better not tug on Superman's cape. Well, they are tugging.
Well, they got the guy that can go toe-to-toe with him.
He can.
You got the guy that can throw blow for blow.
Okay, let's see.
They're gonna be in the middle of the ring, and Tampa skip like rock and sock robot.
Yep. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
Okay.
Is that how it's going to be? You guys mentioned Patrick Mahomes, and, Tom could be his dad. His dad is 50 years old. So just keep that in perspective. Tom Brady, 43, Pat Mahomes' dad, 50. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, the age difference. And we're going to continue talking about these quarterbacks. As we've been discussing, Tom Brady, he's preparing to play in his 10th Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes will be playing for his second straight Lombardi Trophy. Mahomes has the opportunity to become the first QB to win back-to-back Super Bowls since Brady did it with New England in 2003 and 2004. While Brady's Super Bowl stats may seem unbreakable now, if there's one person who could do it, it's Mahomes. So, Shannon, what will it take for Mahomes to become the GOAT?
It's going to take him staying on his current trajectory, Skip. If you look at, there's no question he's off to the greatest start for a quarterback in NFL history. Since we're doing the Super Bowl era, let's just go to Super Bowl era.
Yep.
I don't want to go back because Otto Graham went to 10 titles and 10 championships in 10 years. But let's go to the Super Bowl era because that's what we're talking about, Super Bowl championships. So I'm going to go in the Super Bowl, what we consider the modern era. He's off to the greatest start. The only quarterback that had a comparable start at his age was Dan Marino. Dan went 5,000 yards, 48 touchdowns, was a regular season MVP in his second year. Mahomes went 5,050, MVP in his second year. But Mahomes has gone, this will be Mahomes' second Super Bowl, in which he's going to by the age, he's 25. He won't be 26 until September 17th. So you're talking about a guy at the age of 26 will have 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win for sure with an MVP, regular season MVP, 5,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns. Skip, he's averaging about 4,600 passing yards with right now. So his trajectory is saying, yes, he has an opportunity to be the best of all time. Health is going to play. That's the only role. Because I don't see him all of a sudden just stepping off a cliff. Health is the main thing. That's what Tom has been able to do. He's been able to stay healthy. And if you can stay healthy, you can accumulate numbers. But I think in order to have a realistic chance, Skip, he's going to need over the next 5 years, I'm saying last year and this year and 3 more years, he's going to have 3 titles to give himself a realistic chance. Because at that point in time, over the next 5 years, he'll be 30. Tyreek will be 31. Travis Kelce will be 36. So at that point in time, you're going to probably start to look to reshuffling some players around. And that's what Brady was able to do, Skip, because if you think about it, Brady had a tremendous first start. And then there's a lull. There's like a 7-8 year lull in there. And then he had another stretch where he went bonkers again. The next 6-7 years, he won 3 in 7 years. He won none in about a decade. And then he won 3 in the first 4 or 5 years of his career. So I think in order for my homeboy to have a realistic shot, Skip, he needs 3 titles within the next 5 years because his numbers as far as regular season, Skip, is going to be there. Mahomes, since he's thrown those 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl, Skip, has punted the ball 1 time. In the rest of the game, in the playoffs, he's punted once. So he's averaging in games in which he's played, he's averaging 34 points a game in the playoffs. So, Skip, he has the best chance of anybody that can say, I can catch Brady as far as accolades, Skip. I think Mahomes has the best chance. But I think the next 5 years is going to tell us a lot. What's his numbers going to be like? What's the Super Bowl appearance going to be like? How many wins? And then we can see. I think that's the only way we can offer a fair assessment.
Okay. I will give you this much. Given health, which is a big if in this league, in this sport, there's a good chance he would catch and pass Brady statistically because Brady's never been about huge stats except for 1 year in 2007 and a little bit this year with the no risk it, no biscuit Bruce Arians offense.
I think, what was that? Was that 20, Skip, I think 2011, 2010 where he had a 5,000-yard season? Because he had 50 touchdowns and 4,800 yards in 2007, but he does have a 5,000-yard season on his resume.
Now, when you start talking about playoff statistics, it is going to be difficult to catch and pass him because it's hard to let it sink in what this man has built, the monument that he has slowly but surely built by going 33-11 in the postseason. Already, Patrick's off to 6-1. 33-11, that's 17 more wins than second place on the list, who is Joe Montana.
Right.
33 wins, 10 Super Bowls, 6 wins, maybe a 7th, you don't know. Right now, to me, it is ludicrous to think that Patrick Mahomes would pass 10 Super Bowl appearances. It is preposterous. It is absolutely absurd to think he could catch and pass 10 Super Bowl appearances because Shannon Sharpe knows how hard it is to get to 1 or 2.
But I think catching and passing Brady as far as appearances and becoming the GOAT is two separate arguments. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Mahomes get to be 5-0 or he's 6-1 in Super Bowls. He doesn't get to 10.
Well, I mean, if he passes them in Super Bowl wins, you're there.
Or he's 5-2, or let's just say, for the sake of argument, if Tom were to win this one, he'd be 7-3. He loses, he's 6-4. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, Pat Mahomes is 5-0, 5-1, 6-0 in Super Bowls. Does he not have a compelling case?
You start to have a case.
Okay.
And if he got to, dare I say, I don't know if Tom's going to win this one or not. Most people think no.
Right.
But if he did, got to 7, but could Patrick get to 7? It's way out there. It's from here to Mars. That's how hard it is.
Honestly, Skip, when Tom did what he did within the first 5 years, I remember being on the show and I was talking to Bob Papa, who's my partner at the time. I say it's realistically to think that he could probably get to 6 or 7, and he probably could win 5 or 6 of those. Never in my wildest imagination, Skip, this was in like 2005. Never in my wildest imagination would I actually utter the words, a player went to 10 Super Bowls. A quarterback.
Yep.
Skip, we've seen maybe some journeyman offensive linemen, you play good and you good a couple of
it.
But not as the key figure.
What did you acknowledge to me yesterday? Man, when Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl way back in, what year is like 2009 going into 10, right?
It was 2011. The 2011 because
2011 Super Bowl. So it's 10 years ago. Well, you thought, here he goes.
Floodgates going to open,
Right?
Yeah.
Floodgates.
Yep.
And no, hadn't been back since.
Skip, we thought the same thing. You was probably on the scene when Marino, his second year, he does what he does. They're like, man, they loaded. They've been to come back every year, and he never went back.
Yep.
That's what makes it, and people don't understand. It's so hard, not only because you got to worry about complacency, you got to worry about, especially now with the advent of free agency, guys who win a Super Bowl, Skip, they like, I'm finna go get paid now. Somebody go offer me a boatload of money. So am I going to stay here for a third of the money? Absolutely not.
And then there's this war of attrition.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he's going into the Super Bowl. He could be down 3 starting offensive linemen, 2 for sure, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard,
and
man.
That's the thing. If you look at Brady, for the most part, he's never had his offensive lineman has been there. He's never been without, key figures.
Okay.
So, and that's what makes it so amazing, Skip, is that, like Jordan, when he in the finals, he never got hurt. Nobody on his team. Scotty, the game 6 that they beat, he had a back injury. But if you look at Magic, his hamstring started falling off. James Worthy knees, Byron Scott, Isaiah Rose, his ankle.
I agree. It happens.
So am I going to say, I feel very comfortable in saying I think there's probably like a less than 1% chance that Mahomes goes to at least 10 Super Bowls?
All right. I wasn't highly impressed with his first one. Just for the record, he's down 20-10 to San Francisco, throws an interception late third, and another one early fourth quarter, and he's still down 20-10. Then he got away with a third and forever throw to Tyreek that I thought was more of a punt than a pass.
Right.
But it worked. For 44 yards, it worked. And they came back and they won because he was up against Jimmy Garoppolo, who went in the fourth quarter 3 of 11 for 36 yards and an interception, and missed Emmanuel Sanders down at the goal line with a late throw that could have won the game.
But see, Skip, that's the difference. Look at what Brady did in the fourth quarter. What you call him was unable to capitalize. Aaron Rodgers was unable to capitalize.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what I do if you're not able to capitalize on it.
I got it. But when you look back at Brady's achievements in Super Bowls, you look at they beat the greatest show on turf.
Yes.
Now, again, that's not all about Brady. That's more about Belichick. Right. I gave you that one. Right. That was a Belichick. But he did beat Peyton twice on the way to Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty great, right? And he did beat Donovan T.O. in a Super Bowl, which is still, and it was Andy Reid coaching. That's pretty great. And then Legion of Boom, right? Then Matt Ryan MVP, right? Yeah. And then Aaron Donald and Wade Phillips and that defense that looked like the best defense in pro football at that point. And it took him a long time. It took him to crack the code until the fourth quarter, but he cracked the code of that. Okay? Those are big achievements on the biggest stage.
Let me tell you what Mahomes has working in his favor that Brady didn't happen. When Brady won his first 3 Super Bowls, nobody thought he was the best quarterback in the league. That went to Peyton Manning. There's no question in people's mind that it's 97%, 98% of the people believe, even though Rodgers will win the MVP, that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. So he's already a leg up on Brady in terms of how people view him. Because as you mentioned, a lot of people thought Brady was just game managing. It wasn't until 2007 he had that historically breakout season where they said, that's the best quarterback in football. And what took us so long?
But remember, he didn't game manage in his second Super Bowl against Carolina. No. That was a shootout that he won, right?
But
okay, and remember, after the third Super Bowl, you're talking about the Eagles Super Bowl.
Right.
Really, there was a lot of negativity starting to be directed in Peyton's direction because he was looking like more of a regular season wonder and a postseason bust.
Yeah, because he was winning regular season MVPs and Brady was winning Super Bowl MVPs.
That is correct.
So and so that's the thing. But now you look at Pat Mahomes, who has a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, 5,050 touchdowns in a season. So and people are starting to. So now if he were to win this one, Skip, he could retire tomorrow and he's the first ballot Hall of Famer because we've never seen anybody, and we might not ever see this again.
All right, but he is now the favorite, and that guy, number 12, is the underdog in a Super Bowl.
For only the second time.
That's a dangerous beast to be up against.
I mean, but if you think about it, Skip, for 10 Super Bowls, he's only been the underdog twice.
Yep.
The first one and this one.
The last one, yep.
So you booked it. So what about the 8 in between? You've been the favorite.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we can all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy. We are here to celebrate greatness.
People just wanted to be here to see Kobe one last time.
Reverse! Good foul! And the crowd's on its feet.
How much do you have left, Mamba?
Are you kidding me? Last night of your NBA career? If I wasn't sitting here, I wouldn't believe it. This is like out of a movie. Game in the refrigerator. Kobe's last night. He's gonna score 60. I don't believe what I just saw.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Seeing that footage
footage, it hits you. Exactly 1 year ago today, guys, it marked the tragic deaths of Kobe and Gianna Bryant. The NBA legend and his 13-year-old daughter were among 9 people who lost their lives in a helicopter crash in Southern California. And earlier this month, Vanessa Bryant posted on social media that she hoped people would celebrate the lives of Kobe and Gianna instead of fixating on how they passed as today approached. So, Shannon, what are your feelings a year later?
That lost loved ones. And I know we talk about Kobe because he was the recognizable face and his young daughter, Gigi. But there are a lot of grieving families that lost loved ones in this process, and they're grieving, and they would like to celebrate the lives of their loved ones. So let's make sure that when we fall on our knees and we pray, and we keep those families in mind as well. For me, Skip, with Kobe, it still doesn't seem real. I knew what Kobe was in the basketball community. Skip, I did not know Kobe was this big. If you think about when guys do anything, play golf, you see golfers come out there with the Kobe jerseys on. Yep. You see tennis players come out there with jerseys on. You see football players with the cleats on. Mamba mentality, business world. You move from just being a basketball player, you move to being an icon that transcends sports. Skip, rap, you know, I saw a thing the other day, is talking about players that's mentioned most in rap. Kobe is #1, and Michael Jordan is a distant second. That goes to show you how people, what they thought of him.
Yep.
Like I said, I was DMing him a month to the day that happened. Because I had just saw him earlier that year, Skip, at the Icon Awards, and he was just talking, and he just seemed so at peace. I'm like, bro, you don't miss it. He's like, Sharpe, I put everything into that. He said, I don't miss not one day. I get an opportunity. He said, that was my passion for 20 years. Writing now, he won an Oscar for his play, his short story, I think it's what it's called, a short story.
Dear Basketball.
Dear Basketball. And he says, I just want to, be there with my family, raise the girls, got, Gigi's talked about. And he just seemed so at peace. I wasn't around Kobe much, Skip. I got an opportunity to see him play, went back in the locker room and talked to him. But he seemed at peace. He seemed at ease with where he was in his life. And but like Vanessa said, celebrate that. What happened on that fateful Sunday morning and the foggy Sunday morning on that mountainside, we all wish that would have never happened. But I'm going to remember him dropping 81 on Toronto. I'm going to remember him dropping 60 in his last game. I'm going to remember him dropping 62 in 3/4 against the Mavericks. Yep. I'm going to remember the virtuoso performances in the big games when you needed Kobe Bryant. And like I said, he's the closest thing that I've ever seen to Michael Jordan. And I don't know if we'll ever see someone like Mike and like Kobe again. Kobe was fun to watch. He didn't cheat you. You knew exactly what you're going to get from Kobe Bryant. Every single thing he got. He didn't cheat the process. So for me, Skip, although it's sad, sometimes I go in my DM and I just look at the message. I'm like, bro, I can't believe this happened. But Kobe is, I don't know, Skip. There are certain people that transcend a particular sport. Ali did that. People quote, I'll give you, Kobe is in that stature as far as iconic in his play and how people revere him. Skip, like I said, I knew how big he was in basketball. I knew that. But the world mourned his passing. That tells you everything you need to know about this young man.
So for me, it seems like yesterday that you and I were at our hotel in South Beach, Miami, getting ready for Monday of Super Bowl week when this hit like 1 million tons of bricks. And I remember that afternoon seeing trending, not Kobe. And now a year later, I'm still right there where I was. Not Kobe. It's impossible. Right. Kobe, when it dawned on me a couple of days back, we're coming up on a year, I had to stop and think, wait a second. He's really gone? he was invincible on and off the court. He was a dynamo in his career in basketball and in his second career.
Yes.
He won the Academy Award already.
An Oscar.
An Oscar. What? That's impossibly great. Of all the icons, of all the figures, not Kobe.
Right.
And now, we live here on the west side of Los Angeles, and I can't tell you how many times I'm drawn back into what happened to Kobe, because you often see during the day helicopters buzz over here on the west side of LA on the way to LAX, which is not too far from here where we are, the Fox studios.
Right.
And every time I see a helicopter now, you know what I think about.
Right.
When I'm driving into the studio around 4 o'clock in the morning and it's foggy here, which it often is, not like San Francisco foggy, but we get our periods of fog early morning. You know what I think? Oh, because it was a really foggy morning as they tried to take the helicopter up north
to a game,
of here.
to Gigi's game.
Yep. So for me, usually after someone passes, time will slowly heal your wound. Your pain and your grief, really your agony over losing him or her, it will heal. But to me, it feels like even 1 year later, I haven't even begun to heal yet.
The wound is still fresh,
Yeah.
Skip, and that's what I tell people. People are like, well, we know how close you were with your grandmother. How did you get over it? I say, when a death and someone is that close to you, you don't get over it. You learn to deal with it.
Yeah.
You don't get over that. Vanessa's not going to get over this. She'll get better as time and time. She'll get better of coping. Gigi losing, and man, look, man, that girl she was a spitting image of Kobe. She wanted to be her dad. I mean, you know, if Kobe had a son, it would have been Gigi. Gigi would have been George or whatever she'd have named it. Maybe Kobe Jr.
Yep.
Because she was it. I mean, it was just something. It was something about that relationship. And he says, "Girl, dad," and you know that was trending at one point in time. And you see her at the games when Kobe was starting coming back to Staples. She was right next to him, on his shoulders as a little baby girl. It was Gigi. And to have, man, that just, like I said, Skip, it doesn't even seem real. I mean, I go back, I was like, man, you know what? And I remember going to bed that night, I was like, man, let this be a mistake. Because at first, when it first happened, and you and I were in the lobby checking in, I was like, well, maybe it's one of those things where they say somebody passed and it was a joke, a prank or something. And then you started hearing it, and I'm just saying to myself, and I'm going to my bed, I said, please, Lord, don't let this be true.
Yep.
And then more and more, I was like, it's just...
To underscore the magnitude of this man's passing, Monday of Super Bowl week in Miami, Kobe Bryant transcended the Super Bowl.
Yes.
He basically shut down Super Bowl week.
Yes, there was no talk about the Super Bowl on Monday.
No, because we had a lot of fans come out and watch us that Monday.
Right.
And just about...
8:24, 8:24, 8:24.
And that's all we talked about, because that's all we should have talked about.
Right. But like I said, Skip, it was just that when you can cross over sports, and soccer players wear your jersey, golfers have on your jersey, tennis players, football players, and all the talk, you reach that iconic status. And that's what Kobe Bryant was. Like I said, not only America, the world mourned. You see overseas, you see China, you see Thailand, you see Japan, you see all these other, you see Europe. It's like, and I'm like, Kobe did that? Kobe did that?
He did that. And God rest his soul.
Yep.
Whew, I keep remembering those conversations too, guys, that we had with fans at the Super Bowl and just how he impacted so many. It still doesn't feel real. I love thinking of Kobe and how much pride he took in coaching his girls. And you know what? Kobe, Gigi, forever in our hearts. That Mamba mentality lives on. And Vanessa, we're thinking about you and your family today.
No mercy.
Last night, LeBron swatted Colin Sexton's layup attempt out of bounds. The chase down block has become LeBron's signature defensive move. And this one came in the midst of a monster fourth quarter for the King. Ooh, I like watching that thing back a couple times. Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how impressive was this?
10.
10?
Yeah.
You're going to give that a 10?
Look like Phil Dahlhaus in the 2012 Olympics when he spiked it. Yeah, get it out of here, Skip Bayless. They was only up 2 points. Now, he told him, he said, look here, man, I'm having a party. Now you come, you just bring something brown, bring hen.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton, know he underage. He tried to sneak apple juice in the party. So LeBron just got him.
Right by the nape of the neck.
Yeah, we'll get it up out of here.
Yep.
Then he came back and apologized. I'm sorry, Mr. James. You know, Skip, you know you cannot sneak beverages in the sporting events. What sporting events let you bring your own beverage? Can you go to a football game and say, hey, I got a fifth right here, or I got a 2-liter Coke? No! Pay for it once you get inside. So he tried to sneak it in there, thought he was slick with it.
Did he?
Skip, I thought LeBron could play. He did it all in the fourth. 21 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks. You saw him sizing him up. He's like, let him go. He said, no, don't foul him. Don't you foul him. That's what he told JR. I got him. He's way back there on. He thought he had a cheapie. I got him. JR looked back and said, you way back there. What you mean you got it? Don't you worry about it. Colin Sexton thought he had a cheapie. Thought he was going to do what he did to Brooklyn. You remember how he dropped that thing on Brooklyn? Skip dropped 42. Oh, Go James said, no, not. This still my house. You a tenant in the house that I built. They can change the name. It was the Q, Quicken Loans. Now they changed it to Rocket Mortgage. They can change it whatever they want to. But I'm the title holder. I'm the deed holder to this.
Yep.
Colin Sexton, and don't you forget it. Now get it up out of here.
Now for some objectivity, as opposed to what we just heard. I'm going to give this quote-unquote chase down a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. Colin Sexton is 6 feet 1 inch tall. LeBron James, the last time I checked, unless he's shrunk, is 6 feet 9 inches tall. He is 8 inches taller than Colin Sexton. Why don't you ever pick on somebody your own size?
We do.
I want to know.
We got Tiago Splitter.
How Tiago Splitter? I can out-jump him. I told you I can out-jump him. He's now a coach for the Brooklyn Nets. Way to go, Tiago. My point is, how can you give a 10 to a 6'9" man who blocks the shot of a 6'1" man who had no business shooting it in the first place? Colin Sexton, what are you thinking? He tries to finger roll from a foot away from the basket and throws it way up in the air so that LeBron can pull off what he always does, the ultimate blindside sneak attack. It's a sneak attack. Why don't you ever do it face to face? Just do it right in somebody's face.
Yep, he's an ambush predator.
Oh, that's ambush.
Yes,
I'll give you.
that's what you do.
All-time ambush.
Yes.
So he's the lion against the gazelle, right?
Lion's more like stalk. See, what we do, we like a crocodile. We lay up under the water, you drinking water. Oh, there's some good old water. Ooh, it's hot out here. It's hot. Oh, what happened? You thought, oh, I got to be a layup. Ooh, I got you, Cool, get out the way. You ain't finna do nothing.
So it's like I saw a video the other day from Florida, an alligator against a little puppy dog.
Yeah, and the man jumped in the water to save him.
And wrestled him free.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess somebody had to wrestle him free. Actually, the referee tried to wrestle him free.
Yes.
Because he called goaltend.
No goaltend.
Goaltend, and I'm thinking, well, the ball did come to a stop in midair. It did. It is dead stop. It hits its apex.
Skip.
Is it starting to come down just a touch? I still can't figure it out. Wait a second. That ball, if you slow-mo that, it is stopped.
They did
in midair.
LeBron said, what? What?
And because it's LeBron's house, the referee said, okay, we're going to give you that one.
This man is in year 18.
Are you sure that ball hadn't started just like a quarter of an inch down?
No.
If it's a quarter of an inch down, it's a goal.
And I want you to know, Skip, we had more in the tank if we needed to go higher.
Okay.
Now, I want you to know that, Skip. That's year 18 with the third most minutes in NBA history. And he almost hit his head on the rim.
Well, that's impressive against a 6'1".
No. That's impressive. He's doing it against a 5'2" guy. I mean, let that sink in. Now, what guy do you think in year 18 with those kind of minutes gonna do that?
Okay. Now let's go back to that fateful chase down in Game 7 of, what was it, 2016 finals. This was the classic, you give him all-time credit for this, this was the classic bicycle built for two because JR sets up, he assists the chase down.
Yeah, we set him
because JR cuts off Iggy at the pass. JR cut him off at the pass. Iggy was thinking about dunking, and at the last second, JR gets in his way and makes him say, ooh, I better just try to lay this up off the glass. And it sets up the chase down.
And guess what, Skip?
What if there had been no bicycle built for two? What if it's no JR with LeBron that got there? No, because Iggy would have dunked it and LeBron would have hacked him on the back.
LeBron said, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking he might want to do the up and under. So I went over both hands. So I was going to block it on either side. I was going to bam if I needed to.
It was the ultimate ambush. It was the ultimate blind side, come from nowhere, sneak attack. It's a sneak attack. And have you ever seen LeBron just go face to face with somebody and say, get that you-know-what out of here?
Yeah, he done that several times.
I don't see that.
Yeah. But see, when guys dunk on him, you love that. But when he posterize somebody, you always talk about, well, they so small and they pick on somebody your own side. Skip, I told you. He hollered from way back there in the backcourt. Woo! JR's like, why you hollering? You in the backcourt. I got 2-on-1. What you want me to do? Whatever you do, don't foul it. He's like, well, what you want me to do? Just don't foul it. I'm there in a minute.
Really? Is this the same LeBron James who just 2 years ago got his potential game winner at Madison Square Garden blocked by Mario Hezonja?
It happens.
Mario Hezonja blocked LeBron James' shot?
Skip.
How could that happen? That was face-to-face. That wasn't a chase down. That wasn't a sneak attack. That wasn't an ambush.
Groin injury. You know he had a groin injury. But, Skip, this is what we know. If you play in the NBA, just like if you play football, you play wide receiver, tight end, or running back, you're going to get your clock clean once, at least once. In the NBA, you're going to get dunked on or you're going to go get your shot blocked.
Okay.
Those are two things for certain.
Okay. So do you want to bring it down at least to a 9 because Colin Sexton is 6 feet 1 inch tall?
Because he was sky high.
6'1"?
LeBron said, how high you want me to go?
Colin Sexton shoots that shot like he's way ahead of the pack and he's just going to finger roll it in.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Put George Irving.
What are you thinking?
Skip, he didn't see LeBron.
What are you doing?
Skip, you actually think the gazelle, do you think the wildebeest would go to the water if it actually knew the crocodile was in the water? If he actually saw him? No, he would not go. But that's the whole sneak attack, what we do. We lure you into sneak.
So you're admitting it? Yeah. Okay, great. I give you that, but I'm not even sure it wasn't a goaltend.
It wasn't.
I think that ball stopped and started to descend.
They replayed it.
Yes, they did.
And they slowed it down.
Yeah.
And what did they say?
They said, we're in LeBron's house. They said, we're in LeBron's house. We got to give it
LeBron's
to
house.
him. We got to give
just
it to
the deed
him.
holder. Yeah. We ain't in our house no more. We let them stay there. But we built it for them. You see what we do, Skip?
Just give me a 9 on it, and I'll let you off the hook on this one. Just a 9.
Nah, that's one of them Simone Biles.
Really?
Yeah, on the floor. That's what that is. That's a Simone Biles on the floor.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
No mercy. We're less than 2 weeks from Super Bowl 55, where Tom Brady's Bucs will look to avenge a Week 12 loss to the Chiefs. Kansas City got out to a big lead in that game thanks to Tyreek Hill going for more than 200 yards in the first quarter alone. Tampa Bay did claw back into the game and made it close down the stretch, only to lose 27-24. Now joined by former Chiefs cornerback Orlando Scandrick. Orlando, now, I hate to remind you, but I feel like you picked Rodgers over Brady last weekend. So what shot do you give Brady this time?
Well, first I got to give my shout out to Uncle Skip. I owe you a couple cases. Brady pulled it out. I don't know. There was a lot of suspect things that went on in that game. It was some bad defensive play in that game. And Sharpe, the kind of things that you accuse me of are the kind of things that was happening in that game. 38-yard touchdown passes with 6 seconds to go. But no, I think the Super Bowl should be interesting. It's hard to bet against Mahomes. He's on a different level right now. Andy Reid is one of the best coaches ever to do it. You know, the amount of times that he's been in that championship game in that position, and now the amount of times that he's getting to go to the Super Bowl, you know, I think they repeat. I think they run it back, go back to back.
I agree with a lot of what you said, but I think Brady has a great shot to win, Skip. If you look at the line, Vegas thinks it's going to be a very close game also. If I'm not mistaken...
Wait, did you just say a great shot?
Yeah, I give Brady a great shot to win, Skip, because if you look at this, JPP and Shaq Barrett made Aaron Rodgers' life miserable. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be without their 2 starting offensive linemen. They can make Patrick Mahomes' life miserable. Now, that's the question. Will they have the similar success getting to Mahomes like they had Rodgers? If they can't get to Mahomes, they cannot beat unless Mahomes is off and turn the ball over. Because the one thing that we've seen from Tampa's defense this postseason, Skip, they forced teams into turnover. They got 4 from New Orleans, they got 2 from the Packers, and they got 1 from Washington. So, and they've turned those into points. They're not kicking field goals. They're getting touchdowns when they turn you over. That was the excuse me. That was the difference in the game on Sunday. Is that Green Bay? Green Bay turned over the Bucs 3 times, got 6 points. They turned the Packers over twice and got 14 points.
They did.
Well, that's the difference in your ball game. If Aaron Rodgers catches one of those, maybe we're having a different discussion. And so this is why I give Brady a great chance, Skip. Their defense is playing well. They are turning the football over, and then Brady's getting short fields and cashing in on those. But the key, and I said this yesterday, JPP and Shaq Barrett, they're capable of having a Von Miller-type Super Bowl 50. And if they do that, they can beat Kansas City.
Okay. But the issue, one second. The issue was Tampa Bay played incredible in the first half on offense. Their third down efficiency was like nothing that I ever seen before. And I give credit to Tom Brady. But I just don't think that Patrick Mahomes is going to turn it over. And I just don't think that the Chiefs defense is going to be as bad as the Packers defense.
All right, Orlando, before I unleash on this, back to you. Give us your insight, having played with the Chiefs in practice against Mahomes. Describe him to somebody who wouldn't know anything about him. Why is he as great as he appears to be at this young age?
He's incredible. He's having fun with it. We always said when I was in the locker room, some people play football for money and some people make money to play football.
Yep.
And he makes money to play football because he just loves it. They all love it. They just work. You know, he trusts you. He trusts Tyreek. You know, he throws into double teams. It doesn't matter. Tyreek outruns him. Kelsey, you know, if he doesn't get doubled a lot as much as he should, but he just wears out corners, backside of 3-by-1, wherever they put him, and just efficient. And then the running backs just run hard. They hold the ball. They catch it out the backfield. And they all, you know, they're all selfless guys. No one's selfish. No one's complaining when they're not getting the ball.
Okay, now back to November 29th in Tampa, Kansas City. Mahomes throws it to Tyreek in the first quarter to the tune of 203 receiving yards in a quarter. I'd never heard of anything like that before. Carlton Davis stayed in single coverage on Tyreek for all of the first quarter and some into the second quarter. And you know what happened. And Mahomes throws for 359 in the first half. Mahomes threw for only 103 in the second half because the Bucs started drawing a bead on how to defend. They fell back into more cover 2 type zones, man underneath, but they played more zone. They started to get after Mahomes a little bit more in the second half, and Brady started to draw a bead on the Kansas City defense because over the last 3 quarters of that game, Brady threw for 313 yards and led 2 long scoring drives in the fourth quarter that did cut the score, even though it didn't look, you know, it was much more lopsided than the final score appeared. But it was 27-24 with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. And then all the credit to Mahomes and Andy Reid because they just schemed him and tricked him, and Mahomes ran for 2 first downs, and they killed 4 minutes and 10 seconds of clock, and Brady never got the ball back.
Right.
So Mahomes got even with Brady, so to speak, for what Brady did to him in overtime at the game that Orlando watched out from the sideline, when obviously Brady never gave him the ball back in overtime because he converted 3 straight 3rd and 10s, which is impossible, to win that game. But I'm going to remind everybody, after this 27-24 loss came a very late bye week for Tampa Bay, not until week 13. And during that week, Brady fixed this offense. Brady added some play action. Brady added some motion that he had in New England that he'd never had under the no-risk-it, no-biscuit Bruce Arians offense. And all of a sudden, both the offense and the defense took off after the bye week. Since then, they've won 7 straight games. And to Shannon's point, the defense has gotten hot because what usually shows you how hot a defense is, they start taking the ball away, and it gets contagious, as Orlando knows. So I like where they are now. I like it that they went on the road and beat 3 straight top 10 defenses in Washington, New Orleans, and Green Bay. I like where they're setting, and I like Tom Brady as an underdog because, Orlando, as I told you last week, there's one man in sports I never bet against especially when the stakes are highest in the biggest games?
LeBron James? Is it LeBron James?
No, you know who it is. That's the guy I would always bet against with the money pushed to the middle. Wait, you're talking about the guy who's now 4-6 in the finals? That guy?
10 is a lot of finals. But let's go back. Let's go back to an X factor that I think got a lot of experience with Brady in the Super Bowl. It's Steve Spagnuolo. The 2 times Brady's 2 losses in the Super Bowl were to him. I think he has a great plan, and I think that this KC team is built similar to what the Giants team was built, with Chris Jones and Frank Clark, and then having Honey Badger as kind of their Mr. Do Everything. And I think that Brady is going to have a tough chance. I think he's going to throw the kitchen sink at him, and there'll be a lot of coverages mixed and matched. And it's going to be a game of chess all day.
Okay, so how do you see the scoring go? Do you say high scoring, or do you think Kansas City can win by 14 or 21?
No. I think there's going to be a game that may be 23-16, 23-20. I don't think there's going to be a bunch of points scored. The Chiefs can run the ball when they need to. Andy's one of those coaches that you're going to see game plan every week. It's not, some coaches do what they do, but Andy, you're going to see game plan every week.
I think the thing is if you look at the Chiefs, the way they run the ball, and the Rams gave you the blueprint. If you think you're going to just run the ball up the middle on Tampa, that's not happening. They too big inside. They got Vita Veda probably wearing 350 to 370. Sue, they got those big guys in there. You're going to have to get on the edges to run the ball against them. And you see McCole Hardman, you see Tyreek with a lot of jet sweeps, and I think that's the way they're going to attack them. But here's another thing that's interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong. Even though if Tampa plays the perfect game, you still have to hope my homeboy is off slightly. Skip, he hasn't lost a game in which he's been on. So if he's on, it doesn't matter what Tampa does. And let this sink in, Skip. He's never lost a game by more than one score. Let that sink in. The man has been a starter for 3 years, and he has not lost a game. So it doesn't matter. And because they've done it so many times, they can fall behind 10. A lot of times teams fall behind in playoff games. It's a death sentence.
Okay. Would you say that Mahomes was a little bit off in last year's Super Bowl?
Early.
What about late third quarter, early fourth?
Look at the last game that he lost, he started, the Raiders. He was off just slightly. He completed a little slightly above 50% of his passes, threw an interception.
40-32, right?
And he lost by 8. He was slightly off and he threw for 350. If he's dealing, it's good night. Kiss the baby, Skip. Put the baby to bed. Give the baby some warm milk and put him to bed. It's over.
Late third quarter interception, early fourth interception, down 20-10.
And what'd he do? Walk him down. What did I tell you he was going to do to Buffalo? Oh, I told him on Friday. I said, he going to spot him 10 points. Well, Mahomes turned me into a lie. He only spotted him 9 because the guy missed the PAT and then walked him down. He let you score the first 9. I'm going to go get the next 38. I give you another 8, 9 in and call it a wrap.
That was against Josh Allen. Go ahead, O.
It's going to be a hell of a game. I can't count out time. I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to go with you, Shannon. I don't know what I've been thinking, man. But it's gonna be a game, and if anybody can unseat Tom, it's gonna be Patrick Mahomes. But it's gonna come down to the trenches, what the 2 defensive lines do, how they affect the quarterbacks, and it's what the Chiefs not having Eric Fisher gonna play a big role in it, and but we'll see.
That's that. But I believe it's gonna be high scoring. I think it's gonna be a game, and because I don't see how you beat Mahomes without scoring at least 30. I mean, he's every playoff.
I go off of Vegas. Vegas set that line so high, I think they know something. The lights is too bright in Vegas for that line to be so high.
Because it's 56 and a half, so it's 3 points. So somebody getting, so it might be, 30, 26? It's 26. I think it's going to get to the line. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over the line.
I remind you, at November 29th at Tampa, time of possession was 37 minutes, Mahomes, to only 23 for Brady.
Yeah, Brady went a lot of 3 and outs early. That's what the difference, Skip. And what did Mahomes do? He went like 75 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards. And one of those didn't take any time because he hit Tyreek, and that don't take like 5 or 6 seconds.
The Bucs are very different than they were on November 29th. I don't think the Chiefs are any different because they're still the Chiefs. So I'm going to give you that. But I think Tampa has raised its level.
What you've done, and a lot of people have done, you're looking at Vegas, where they're not covering the spread. They're not covering the spread. They keep winning close. You heard what they said, though? What did they put in front of close? They keep winning. They keep winning. But it wasn't by 5. It wasn't by 10 like Vegas said. Y'all lost sight of the big picture. No football. I don't know about you all, but I never went to a game like, man, we favored by 8 points. We got to get on our horses. We got to make sure we win by 10 so people going to lose their money. That wasn't my fault. I got to have more than what you got at the end of the game. I don't care what Vegas said.
You know the old cliche, by the skin of your teeth? I don't know what it means, but I know how it applies here. They keep winning by the skin of their teeth.
What about Sunday? With that skin of their teeth?
How many lives do they have? 9, 10, 11, 12?
See, you thought the game in Cleveland was close because my homeboy got hurt. He was about to kick dirt in their face. You know that. I know that. Everybody know that. Because in the playoff games, he going to get you 30. He getting 30.
Okay.
It's going to be a good one.
Get you 35. They've been averaging 35.
We averaged 34 for a playoff career.
All right.
No mercy. Saturday, Caleb Plant, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in boxing, puts his perfect record and super middleweight title on the line against Caleb Truax. Saturday, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Well, guys, Aaron Rodgers didn't sound too confident about the future of the Packers after he fell to 1-4 in NFC Championship games on Sunday. And now reports are circulating that he wants more money to stay in Green Bay. Packers legend Brett Favre is trying to pump the brakes on any discontent, saying there's frustration on Aaron's side right now, but there's, quote, no way that Green Bay would lose Rodgers. And this morning, Packers CEO Mark Murphy said, quote, we're not idiots. Aaron Rodgers will be back. So, Shannon, how does this play out?
Well, it sounds like you're an idiot. You drafted a quarterback in the first round, so why would you do that? If you were so certain Aaron Rodgers was what you said he is, and how adamant you are, and how decisive you are in your praise, right currently, why would you ever take a quarterback in the first round and trade up to do so if you feel this way? Because Mark Murphy knows Aaron Rodgers now has the leverage back again, Skip, and he's going to hold their feet to the fire. What are you... And the Players Club, St. Louis comes into the building, Skip. He says, do something to make me feel better. Packers, you're going to have to do something to make this man feel better. What you going to do? You need to get me somebody that I feel... I'm not necessarily saying, Skip, it's a wide receiver. I'm not necessarily saying it's this or that. But you better get somebody that's going to be able to come in and contribute. Because you took a guy that had no bearing on our season. And I'm not getting any younger. So you're trying to add stuff for the future. My future is right now. And so he's like, okay, what y'all gonna do? Now, this upcoming season, 2021 and 2022, on his resume, on the books for them. So I'm surprised that this is a play about money. Could be. I mean, hell, we make it, 36, 37 million next year. And I think, 40 after that, like 40.9 after that?
No, it's 39.9, but 40.
Okay, 40 million. So, he want to add, 2-3 more years? So, Skip, look, he's upset. He's frustrated, Skip. I mean, it was set up for you, Skip. I mean, you had the perfect birthday. I mean, it was sunny. The weather forecast was projected to be 85 and sunny. And then all of a sudden, a pop-up thunderstorm came, and it washed you out. And that pop-up storm was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it washed your perfectly good season. That everything that you had worked for, Skip, it washed it all away. He's frustrated right now. But he's mainly upset that what they did in the offseason when they selected a quarterback, and we knew what it was going to be, Skip. We knew he was going to be seething because quarterbacks, they don't take kindly to when you taking their replacement, especially because that guy can't help us do nothing. He didn't even hold for the snap. He didn't do anything.
Nope.
So Rodgers said, you could have got me somebody. So he's going to hold. He has the hammer right now, Skip, and he's looking to bash somebody in the head with it.
So I know how much you love your man, Aaron Rodgers, and you know how much I don't love him. So I'm just going to lay it right in the middle of this table right here, right now. To me, the Green Bay Packers are now officially held hostage by Aaron Rodgers. Because all he did to counteract Jordan Love was go out and be the runaway MVP. And yet all he did in yet another championship game was let them down. That's 1-4 in championship games, and I dare you to go look at that one that he won in Chicago with Jay Cutler on the bicycle with a strained knee, some kind of a wounded knee.
It just goes to show you, Skip, he played better in this game than he did that game, and he won that game.
They won it. And then they went on and won that long ago, far away Super Bowl. And that's all you got. And since then, he's been 7-8 in the playoffs. And if you look at the 7 wins, they're flawed because it was Joe Webb at quarterback and Kirk Cousins and the Dez Cauditt game and the Odell boat trip to Miami game, then playing at Lambeau, and then the 2 cross-country field goals by Mason Crossbar at Jerry World. It's just one thing after another where he got a lot of breaks along the way, even to get to 7-8. But now he's doing, look, the 2 greatest strengths to me of Aaron Rodgers, and I don't discount either one of them because they are great strengths. He can front run, and I mean that in the most positive way. If he gets you down, that's why Tom Brady knew, I got to take the ball. They deferred to us. They said, you take it, Tom. Right. Watch what we do to you. And he converted. Brady did 3 straight 3rd and 10s to go right down and score a touchdown to go 7-0. That's the only way you're going to win against Aaron Rodgers on the frozen tundra. Right. You got to show him right out of the box, we're here to stay. Right. We're here to fight. And you have to put him on his heels and hope that maybe he folds in the 4th quarter. And he did. He did. You were the first to acknowledge he did not play great in the 4th quarter. They had their opportunities, in part thanks to Tom Brady, but they could, even with 2 backup safeties in for Tampa Bay, he could not pull it off. But what does he do now? He can front run and he can blame deflect at the highest order. And he is now blame deflect. He is managing to turn the narrative from it was your fault, Aaron, to no, it was Matt LaFleur's fault, and it's Mike Pettine's fault, and ultimately it's Mark Murphy's fault because you didn't get him enough help, and you dared to go trade up in the 1st round to take a quarterback who clearly was earmarked as his replacement sooner or later, depending on, remember, it took Aaron 3 years to replace Brett Favre, and I'm sure that was sort of the timetable. Well, if it takes 2 years or 3, we'll be just fine, but we need to get him right here, right now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Skip, and the thing was, you said you believed that Aaron had held them hostage for the last 7-8 years. They finally took some of it back by taking the quarterback, said, oh, okay, Aaron, we'll move on without your butt. And then they messed around and let the man have 48-5, and he's going to be MVP, and he snatched it right back. So what do they do now, Skip? They damned if they do, damned if they don't.
All right, but during the regular season, you're going to get a lot of discount double check from Aaron. You're going to get McCringleberry at Tampa Bay when they went up 10-0.
I wanted to see it.
You wanted to see it. But when you get to the highest level of the conference, you got 1-4. So that's why you're held hostage. I don't think he'll ever break through again and win a Super Bowl. I could be wrong, but I don't see it as what is he now, 37?
Yeah.
I think you've seen the best of Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's why they're held hostage. What do they do now? Because it's hard to argue with runaway MVP, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, well, I'm going to move on from a guy that just thrown 48 touchdowns with 5 interceptions. How do you move on from that? So basically, if he wants more money because now he's tied with Jared Goff for the 5th highest paid, and you got some more QBs coming up. You heard the Baltimore Ravens say, Skip, you see how the Baltimore Ravens, the general manager says, I want Lamar here long term. Sure. He deserves to get that. You see how they ain't mentioned nothing about no discount. They ain't mentioned nothing about no hometown discount. They ain't got to mention anything about, we got to think about the other team. They said, Lamar Jackson, you see the difference between the way the Ravens do business and the way your team do business?
Okay, but every other commercial now, I see Dak Prescott on a national TV commercial, right?
Yeah.
He's starting to rival Baker.
Well, he got to because y'all ain't paying him. You ain't paying him.
Well,
he got
him already.
He got to make some money.
You got to give a discount because you are America's team's quarterback.
I need one of them discounts. Hey, Dak, see you one of them discounts, one of them old beds.
And speaking of discount, does Aaron Rodgers, how much has he made from State Farm over the years?
Well, he finna make more from Green Bay.
I don't know.
So what? What did he want? What, tack on another 3 years, Skip? So make it a 5-year deal for what? 120? 125? He wants 45 a year?
All I know is if I were a Green Bay Packer fan, when it comes playoff time, the last thing I'm going to do is RELAX. Not with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
There you go. Skip, he said that many years ago.
Okay, but that was during the regular season after they'd lost a couple of games.
Yeah.
And I give you that, regular season wonder. He's starting to get like Peyton used to be, where he'll put up those numbers during the regular season. Can't trust him in the biggest games in the postseason.
Well, he need to go on somewhere and say, go on there, get me to San Francisco.
Right. Well, maybe they will.
Super Bowl favorite right there.
Yep. Well, we'll see.
Can you think about what Kyle Shanahan did for Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan ain't played that well before or since. Look at what he's done with those guys, Skip. He got guys that shouldn't even.
I got it. But go back and look at 5 NFC Championship games played by Aaron Rodgers and tell me what you see and don't see from him, because you don't see a lot.
Well, he got to. Skip, like I said, I think he plays well. But the really great one, Skip, you got to play well in the moments. It's the moment, Skip. I'm not saying you got every third down you got to pick up. You got to go 10 for 11 on third down. You got to make every throw. But it's moments that we remember the most.
So last quick point was there was an anonymous quote in Mike Sando's piece in The Athletic today about Aaron, and the quote is from a veteran coach. It says, "Why is it so hard for Rodgers to act like a professional?" Well, he's a diva, a blame-deflecting diva. That's what he always has been.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, there we go. Thank you.
Well, guess what? Y'all blame deflected because y'all blame me and you took a quarterback. So if you took a quarterback, so what are you saying, Skip? Whenever you draft in the first round, you're saying that position is a position that we need.
They were preparing to cut bait.
Well, I'm preparing to cut bait.
All right.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm prepared to jump overboard. You ain't got to cut bait. I'm going to jump in. That's what I do for you.
They should cut bait at some
I bet you they will. Okay, do it. I dare you. I dare you, Mark Murphy, to cut bait. I double dare you.
Good.
Yeah, they said they're not idiots.
Discount there.
You know, Skip, when you were a kid, I double dare you with ice cream on top.
With everything?
No mercy.
Tom Brady is preparing to play in his NFL record 10th Super Bowl, but he remains a divisive figure on social media. The internet was quick to remind fans yesterday that Brady has long been a friend of ex-President Donald Trump, even featuring a Make America Great Again hat in his locker several years ago in New England. So, Shannon, how much did that hat impact your view of Tom Brady?
Didn't change my view of Tom. I understood what Tom was for a very, very long time, Skip. He put that hat in there for a reason, letting you know that I support my friend Donald Trump, and no matter what he says, I support him. Skip, Mark McGuire was not trying to hide the fact that he was taking androstenedione on. Skip, it was right there front and center in his locker. When you pan to it, you saw all the bottles.
No, but I thought that was a diversion.
That was diversion.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, he was taking...
That's the light stuff.
Yeah, he was taking that on top of the other stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the hat.
Okay.
Support him in another way. Skip, let me ask you a question. And I know people, I was reading a little bit of the article where they tried to make the parallel between Colin Kaepernick and Tom Brady. But I got a better comparison. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, LeBron James says, my friend, Minister Farrakhan. How would America react? You see, blacks have always had to be very, very quiet about who our friends are. They made President Obama disavow Reverend Wright. Donald Trump staying front and center with David Duke. A lot of these radical ministers that says things that are controversial. He doesn't have to, I don't know who they are. All he says, I don't know who they are. LeBron James can never say, a prominent black athlete can never say, Minister Farrakhan is just my friend. They try to cancel anybody with the just mere mention of Mr. Farrakhan's name because we like Tom Brady.
Although, just a quick point of order, after all LeBron has done for this country,
let him say it.
Well, if anyone could get away with saying that, he could. But go ahead.
He get away with that one, Skip. Okay. There are certain things, Skip. We've seen guys that have mentioned, and society have tried to the cancel culture now.
Yep.
And that's what we are, Skip. If we like somebody, we're more forgiving of their actions. We're more forgiving of their words, their deeds. If we don't like you, we will go to heaven and earth. We'll go back 15 years, how long Twitter's been on, and we'll scroll and try to find something that you said 15 years ago. If we don't like, kind of like Tiger. You watched the documentary of Tiger, Skip?
I did. We need to talk about it. We will.
Okay. You see what they did, Skip? Once they got him on the radar, they never let go. They went to heaven and earth because they wanted to bring him down. When they want to bring you down, they'll move heaven and earth. If not, they'll catch...
Although he went a long way to bring himself down. But go ahead.
Yeah,
yes.
He didn't do anything public. You had to snoop. You had to find that out. He wasn't doing it in public. But all I'm saying, Skip, look, that's his friend. He says that's his friend. It's kind of hard to separate, Skip, when you got a friend that's as divisive as this, and you say that's still my friend when you know what he stands for.
Yep.
That Make America hat, that MAGA hat, you put that there for a reason. And you know how divisive it was going to be. And you didn't take it down until you caught criticism. Didn't change what you thought. So for me, Tom Brady, I still look at Tom Brady as a great, great player. Been around him a little bit, don't know him that well, but it didn't change what I thought of him because I think what I think of a lot of people when it comes to President Trump. They think with their back pocket, and that's it.
I hear every word you just spoke, and I disqualify myself on this topic only because I'm not as politically oriented as I've always told you, as you are. You know it so much better than I know it. I don't know Tom Brady at all. I've never talked to him, never met him, but I do know a whole lot of people who have played with and who know him very well. So I feel like I've done as much homework as I could about him. So all I know about his relationship with Trump is it started back in 2002. Why did it start? Because his owner just might be Donald Trump's best friend in the whole world. And we're talking about Mr. Kraft, Robert Kraft, right? Does that bother you? I've asked you that before. It troubles you here and there.
It does.
Robert Kraft's done some good things for Meek Mill, for instance,
and even
right?
Mr. Kraft started to lay low as the verbiage and the rhetoric hiked up.
You got that right. You wanted no part of that.
Exactly.
What just happened a couple of weeks back? Donald Trump gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom, awarded it to one Bill Belichick because they are very close friends, and even Belichick has acknowledged that publicly. But at this point, Belichick said, no, I'm sorry, this was after the Capitol riot.
Correct.
Okay. He was out. But again, Tom Brady, who's always been a good company man, his owner and his head coach, the GOAT head coach, are very close friends with Donald Trump. Well, it trickles down a little bit to Tom like, oh, I guess that's what our organization is. We're friends with Donald Trump. So all the way back in 2002, Robert Kraft introduced Donald Trump to Tom Brady. Right. What did they share? Only one thing that I know of, which is golf. Tom Brady in the offseason loves to play golf and has always been hurt by the fact that Belichick never asked him to play golf somewhere up in New England in the summertime, right?
Right.
So he started playing occasionally with Donald Trump, and the one quote I saw from Brady about Trump, he's a hell of a lot of fun to play golf with. Okay, does it end there? I don't know. I have no idea. But he said that Kraft gave him the Make America Great hat, and whether he wanted to display it or not, I have no idea. But it wound up in his locker, to your point, and it stained Tom Brady in many ways.
Yeah.
Okay?
Tom Brady is a brand. Anything. LeBron James don't wear anything. These guys that are brand skip don't wear anything because that's an endorsement.
I got it. But Giselle, his wife, was quoted in the Washington Post ahead of that election in 2016 as saying, we do not support Donald Trump. That Brady has tiptoed that fine line between trying to maintain his friendship with Donald Trump while not supporting or even certainly campaigning for him publicly as a politician.
We wasn't wearing you didn't have the MAGA hat on. He had the MAGA.
All right, I got it. I am with you on all of the above, but I'm going to say this one more time. This is all I know about Tom Brady. I only care about him in the end as a quarterback. But I have worked with so many players who work closely in that locker room with Tom Brady. And I've told you again and again, I never heard one negative word about him. And I'm all ears, man. I'm open. You know me. I'm skeptical. I had my doubts. We had our man James Harrison say, I went in that locker room late in the year 2 years ago thinking my radar is up. Couldn't find anything.
But you know, Skip, until President Trump came to office, people didn't talk about politics in the locker room.
No.
You had no idea if they were Republican, Democrat, Libertarian. It didn't matter. Green Party. You didn't know.
But wouldn't you think I would have heard from some player, a lot of white players, a lot of black players. Wouldn't I hear one time from one player, oh, he's got some cracker in him, or he's got a little white supremacist going on in him, something like that? I've never heard a word about that. He wants to win championships, and he is driven and all in on that, like hyper-focused on winning championships.
I think the biggest thing is that what quarterbacks have learned in order to command a locker room skill, you can't show it.
Steer clear.
You got to.
I got it.
Like I say, all I'm saying is, Skip, is that we see a lot of these from Brett Favre. We see a lot of these guys taking pictures with President Trump. I just want to know if one of these elite Mahomes or LeBron James were just to take a picture with Mr. Farrakhan, what would be said?
It's a fair point and a valid point, and I agree with you. So in the end, do do you harbor any sort of distrust of Tom Brady just because you saw that hat? Deep down.
Deep, Skip, for me, look, I've always said this, Skip. I believe that Tom Brady offers you a glimpse of what he really truly is. He's not going to show you the side that's not portrayed in a positive light. That's what I've always said about these guys, Skip. They're always going to show you that side, and that's what Tiger did a great job of until he got exposed. He just showed you that side, but behind the scenes, people are like, man, Tiger ain't nothing like what he showed in front of camera.
That is correct, because the world thought Tiger was the greatest husband and father ever, and his website portrayed him greatest husband and father. My mother, may she rest in peace, she loved Tiger Woods, but when this story broke about the scandal, she was devastated because she said, that's not Tiger Woods. Well, it was.
Well, Skip, my friendship is contingent. I'm not going to let you just say anything, do anything, and then we going to be cool. Because at some point in time, even if it's 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, I'm just not going to let you continuously demean. Skip, even when I'm around my friends now, and they use the R word. I'm like, bro, don't do that. Don't say that. And what? I said, no, don't do that. That's disrespectful. Or when they say something derogatory about someone's orientation, bro, come on. We don't need to do that. We passed that now. Even, and I'm talking about public conversation. I mean, private conversation between me and friends.
Right. Yeah.
No, bro, we don't need to do that. Oh, all right, Sharpe, I see where you are right now. Cool, respect that.
Okay. So
I got limits. I just can't let you say things about women, let you do things and peddle an agenda that I think is divisive. I can't do that. Okay, cool, I'm out. Bro, we had fun. We had a great 25-year. We had a great 30-year run. Hey, we cool. We good. I'm good.
So in the end, my view of you across the table is you're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but for starters, Tom Brady doesn't represent what's in your mind's eye, the classic superstar quarterback. He doesn't act the part. He doesn't play the part very well because he's a little lame, a little cliched, a little nerdy, too milquetoasty off the field.
You know what, Skip? I think the thing for me, after being around a lot of those guys, you know, going back and seeing them at the Hall and being around them at the thing, they pretty much act the same way. I mean, John acted like Marino. Marino was like Kelly. Kelly was like...
I know, but you've been around Marino a lot. I've been around Marino enough to know.
Oh, Daddy, that's my dog.
But he's got some edge to it.
Oh, yeah.
Some real edge. And John is cool. John is...
Danny is different. That if a player says something derogatory about Danny would respond.
Yeah.
Marino, Danny would respond. And he's just
quick trigger.
Yes. But
John Elway was like a movie star to me. The way he handled himself, he was like John Wayne, right?
Yes.
Tom Brady's not like John Wayne.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, is that once Tom Brady went to a different level when he was married to Giselle. So that put him in a whole different stratosphere. So now we're like, okay, man, I mean, Giselle is internationally known. None of these other guys had wives that were internationally known, that she's probably been more well-known than Tom Brady is. So that puts him in a different space. But I don't view Tom as a historically great quarterback. We might ideologically disagree on some things, but that doesn't change what I think of him. I think he's historically great. Great. But we differ on politics. And when people say certain things, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, if you have an agenda that's divisive or try to think someone is better because of this or that, I'm out.
I'm glad we discussed this because everything we just discussed is a subplot to this Super Bowl. It's like a subliminal subplot, right?
Yep. You know you're going to have one side root for this guy and one side root for that guy.
Yep.
No mercy. Saturday on Fox, third ranked. Villanova continues their fight for the top spot in the nation as they take on Big East rival Seton Hall. It all tips off at 2:30 on Fox and the Fox Sports app. The Packers defensive coordinator Mike Pettin is getting flack for giving up a deep touchdown to Scotty Miller at the end of the first half of Green Bay's NFC Championship loss. After the game, Matt LaFleur said he can't play man coverage in a situation like that and expect to beat a good team. Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy tweeted, quote, "That may be the worst defensive design I've ever seen with 8 seconds. and no timeouts left. Well, Football Talk even speculated that it could cost Mike Pettin his job. So, Shannon, should it cost Pettin his job?
It might. It cost Greg Williams his job with a lot less on the line.
Yep, and to your credit, you first guessed this.
I did. Skip, I'm like, hold on. Bro, you playing single high safety?
Yep.
With 8 seconds and no timeout, you playing man coverage?
To man across the ball.
Why? I'm just trying to Skip. I'm trying to understand why. Even if you thought they were trying to get in field goal range, all you have to do is guard the sidelines and guard deep. Don't let anything over your head. And what did he do? Tom Brady normally, I bet you there have been 4 times before the half, maybe 5, in which he's tried to do this. Either get a big play, get a pass interference, or obviously the completion.
Okay.
And Mike Pettin, you call, it was almost like he brought a blitz, because if you look at all the guys at the line of scrimmage. I'm like, bro, what you doing? Yeah, and Skip Harry, this is what you know. When the head coach says it. We can speculate on morning talk shows all we want to. His boss said it. You don't play that coverage in that situation.
Matt LaFleur said that. Okay. I believe they got bamboozled by the GOAT, because remember the sequence. It was 3rd and 4 at the Green Bay 45 with 18 seconds left, and Brady missed Cameron Brate deep, and you thought, okay, that's it. They'll just punt it away and let the half run out, right? But no, they called time, and I think either Brady talked Arians into it or vice versa, but I'm going to say Brady talked Arians into it.
I think Bruce, because Skip, he's like, look, my special teams are not very good. They punt this ball, because what did New Orleans do? New Orleans almost brought punts back twice.
Yeah, that would be Tavon Austin.
So he's like, you know what? Let's just play. Let's get it.
All right. So it's now 4th and 4, and Tampa calls timeout. And then once the offense stays on the field, Green Bay called timeout before the 4th and 4 play. What does Brady do? He stands up and hits Fournette on a little option route over the middle, and he hits him for 6 yards. And all of a sudden, it's 1st and 10 at the 39. But there are only 8 seconds left. And they just go quick, and Patton stays in man. And I'm sure they're thinking they're going to try to throw some quick out and get, because right at that point it would have been a 57-yard field goal, probably out of suck-up range, slightly,
in that weather, yes.
Okay, so I'm sure Patton and company are thinking, okay, he needs 6, 7, 8 yards to try to get this under 50 yards, and maybe they'll take a shot at the buzzer with the long field goal. And Brady looks up, smells man, and listen, Kevin King is a better player than he's getting credit for now. Remember,
I can't tell.
Okay, but in 2017, he was the first pick in the 2nd round out of University of Washington, so he's got some credentials. I've seen games when he's played very well against the Cowboys.
Well, the contingent right now is toast.
I got it. I got it, but he underestimated the little white guy, because the little white guy can fly.
He can fly.
He can run 4.3, and he tries to backpedal. He tries to backpedal the white guy, where he never turned to run with him until it was way too late.
He's looking at Skip. Hold on. You playing man coverage. Why are you looking inside? Don't you need to worry about the guy? There's a guy that you're supposed to be covering. Why are you worried about what's inside?
Okay, because Mike Evans ran just sort of a post route.
Well, and that's the thing, Skip. I can see if everybody's running seams, and now you play 2 by 1. But Mike Evans didn't run a seam, so you can't play 2 by 1.
Nope, you cannot. Little Scotty just runs right by him, and Brady gets a good pickup block from Fournette. On, I think it was a blitzer came. It looked like a blitzer's free, and he throws an absolute dime on the money to a kid that he trusts to catch those balls.
Skip, if you want to play quarters, and just play off and say, look, okay, 8 seconds. How long does it take to say, okay, time? I mean, he completed that, so we're gonna say, look here. We're going to guard the sidelines. Obviously, we're not giving up anything deep. Just keep him in bounds. I don't believe they're going to have enough time to get, to complete the pass, get out of bounds, and try a field goal.
Okay, so Michael Vick made the point in the contention on yesterday's show that play won that game. And you can feed into that, because it well might have.
How many times, Skip, you remember right before the half in Green Bay a couple of years ago? Aaron Rodgers beat the Giants. He threw a Hail Mary.
He did.
Right before the end of the half. Eli Manning returned did it to them, and I think in 2011, hit a Hail Mary right at the end of the half. And it broke their backs.
Okay, but a lot of plays were obviously played in the second half. They got the early turnover, and Brady quick strike to Cameron Brate, and all of a sudden it's 28-10.
What you would think is, Skip, you think, well, you know what, we about to go in 14-10, we get the ball back.
I got it.
Touchdown.
Psychologically, that is a backbreaker.
It is.
And I believe somebody's going to have to pay for the magnitude of this defeat. And it well might be Mike Pettin.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I don't think he deserves to lose his job. Brady was already 10-3 against Mike Pettin defenses going into the games.
Right.
So it's no shock that Brady did that to him again.
And the thing is, Skip, is like I said, is one thing when you and I debate, okay, what should have happened? Should have run this coverage? Hell, my boss, Shannon, that's something that you shouldn't have wrote. Shannon, that's something you shouldn't have said. Right. That's a whole different ball game than somebody in the media saying, well, Shannon shouldn't have said that. When your boss said that's something that you should have done, skip that whole,
somebody's got to pay.
It's kind of a deflection.
No mercy.
Hey, LeBron James shouted out Tom Brady on Instagram yesterday, posting a picture of Brady shouting with the caption, "Mood, GOAT talk," and included the hashtag Washed Brady, which is very similar to his own motivational Washed King hashtag he used during his championship season last year. I think he also had that on his shoes last night. Shannon, what is he saying here?
He's saying Brady, he heard the same thing that Brady heard, that it was over, that he couldn't do anything. He was in a terrible division, the AFC East. He just kept winning. He's in the AFC, and it wasn't all the powerhouses in the NFC. So he goes to the NFC, and he's on his way to the Super Bowl, just like Skip Bayless and many others said LeBron James was winning because the Eastern Conference. Now he goes to the Western Conference, and now you're saying, now he got everybody scurrying like roaches when you turn the lights on. Really? Everybody that left the West and came East. Why? Because that bad man came West.
Really? Wait a second, you're changing the subject because I got to get back on. Is this LeBron's attempt at insinuating this is GOAT to GOAT talk? Is this like GOAT by association?
So we gonna discount the 10 championships that he's been to? Are we discounting them?
Well, if Michael Jordan wants to post, GOAT talk.
Michael Jordan didn't go to 10. Michael Jordan didn't go to 10.
Michael Jordan doesn't need to try to insinuate or convince anybody that he's the GOAT because we all know he is the GOAT.
No.
And you know what? LeBron is lucky that he doesn't have to play against Tom Brady, or Tom Brady would take it out on him for even suggesting that he's the GOAT.
So let me ask you a question. You think LeBron would be a better football player, or Brady would be a better basketball player?
Well, obviously, I'll give you that. But would LeBron be a better quarterback than Tom Brady?
Will he be a better power forward than LeBron?
No, he would not, but that's not what he does. Okay, he plays football at the highest level.
My guy plays all of them. Yeah. He can play 1 through 5.
Really?
1 through 5. Point guard, 2 guard, 3, 4, 5.
Your game's football.
Go James.
Football player.
This is just
Brady ought to be glad he mentioned it.
Great
He's lucky he mentioned it.
Hey guys, we're back at the same time tomorrow morning. Have a good day.